Hey, what is going on, everyone? JC here. I'm here with the OtaKrew as well, and we also have a special guest here today. We're actually going to be doing more of the anime royales like we did previously last week. So if you guys are excited, guys, get ready. We're ready for a nice brawl debate. I hope you guys are getting excited. So, of course, for me, my name is JC Green. I'm going to be the moderator for here. I got 5 questions ready to go to give to these 3 gentlemen, and they're going to try to debate it out. And yeah, we're going to see what goes on. So, first off, first one who's going number first, we have, for example, you, Gabe. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Gabe / Shintao Genesis, and I'm going to win or lose horribly.
And then right here, we have Mr. Reckless Fang. Want to introduce yourself?
Oh crap. I'm second? No.
Yep.
No. Hi.
And then, of course, for last, which this isn't special treatment, you just got lucky on this one because it's the way it's laid out here on Skype. We have our special guest. You want to introduce yourself, sir?
This is true. Hey, my name's Stefan, and my YouTube channel will be, once I put it up, is The Blackest Nerd You Know. So I'm going to be doing game reviews and anime reviews and stuff. And it's going to be pretty awesome. So yeah, excited to be here and do this debate.
Perfect. Look, we got an upcoming AnyTuber / game reviewer. Awesome. So guys, I gave you guys the questions earlier of 5 different questions. I gave you about 5 minutes, so a minute apiece to think about your questions and your answers. So of course, we're just gonna get straight at it. So yeah, let's just do this. So for the first question that I made here, Gabe, we're gonna start with you. What anime have you seen that you wish would be explored upon more, such as like a second season, maybe a new version, an adaptation, anything at all? Go.
Alright, the show that I think needs the most exploration that is left not necessarily unfinished, but can be explored on so much more is Baccano. It has 13 episodes and 3 like additional episodes, but the thing is, Baccano stretches so far in its time span from like early pirate days all the way to nowadays that with only 13 episodes, they have packed so much into it, but still have left so much unanswered. By the end of it, spoiler alert, some characters are actually immortal, and other characters have just completely open-ended endings. Basically, they have anywhere they can go, and while they did tie up a lot, they tied up the main overarching story, they didn't tie up a lot of that, and with immortality comes, I mean, generations upon generations of storytelling, and to only have 13 episodes to encompass all of that is almost criminal. It seems like that they could have done so much more with this series, and that there are a lot of loose ends that need to be tied up with many of these characters, not to mention that we can go not only to present day and see where they are, where they've come from, and what they're now facing, but also go into the future. It's pretty much endless possibilities with this series, and they cut it so very short.
Alright, I mean, alright, I've seen Baccano, but I'm going to be non-biased on that. That sounds really convincing, and you definitely made a lot of good points that I really thought was really convincing. So, Corey, or Mr. Reckless Fang, go right ahead.
One anime that they should explore more upon is an anime called Hibernate Renmei, which came out in 2002. It was only 13 episodes, and it's basically about these beings with wings and halos that will wake up in this world that is surrounded by walls. They only explored one concept, though, which is pretty darn sad, because I would have really liked them to explore more on the angels, more on how the angels go into that world, because they never actually explore that concept. They only explore one concept, which is passing on. They never explore the walls, what's outside the walls. They should explore more upon that, just to give a sense of world building. It's more so an atmospheric show, but it just kept too confined for its 12 episodes. I felt like it could have done a lot more if it had 13 extra episodes.
All right. I mean, as far as I got from from Gabe at first, there was a lot of of course, loose ends, and they should have filled more. Of course, with you, Corey, you definitely mentioned some key points that with this they explored upon more and gave more of the whole dynamic of the whole anime in general, since it's very atmospheric. So, just Stefan, you're up, buddy. Convince me, man.
Okay, so the anime that I think that they definitely should have expanded more on after the ending was Boku wa Mina Kawaiso, which is basically the Kawaii Complex Guide to Manners in Hostile Behavior. So, for those of you who have seen the anime, you know that it basically left us on a cliffhanger at the end, on the last episode. It basically showed that the main character and Kawaii, who he's basically practically upset with, not upset, but obsessed with, I should say. Okay. Usa is the guy, and Kawaii is the girl. It kind of leaves us on a cliffhanger, which is, spoiler alert. Basically, Usa gives Kawaii his phone number, they exchange numbers, and it leaves it off on that. Personally, I think that would have been an amazing way to expand on their relationship if it was in a season 2 arc. I would love to see that and have them, expand more on the relationship from just friends to, maybe something more, since I know that's what people were expecting to happen by the end of the series, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So.
All right, fair enough. So as far as I got, just from what I heard from you guys, again, needs to fill in some loose ends, missed concept, didn't get the whole dynamic of the whole anime, and of course cliffhangers. Those are all serious things that I think anyone out there who watches anime would suffer and hate to see it in a good anime that they love to watch. So anyone want to counter Gabe's with Bakuno? Corey, Stefan, you're more than happy to jump right in and convince you why your anime is not it should be explored upon more, and convince me to pick your side. Go. Any of you guys want to jump in for that? Against Bakuno?
I kind of want to go in and say that, to an extent, Bakuno was a great anime. I'm not shitting on it completely. I mean, I really loved it. But how it ended, I would have to say that I would appreciate it more if Bokura got an opening spotlight in season 2, because compared to Bakuno, I feel that Bokura had to go through, there was a lot of stuff, there was a lot of suspense. Not saying that Bakuno didn't have any, but there was a lot of, driving, there was a lot of driving motivation for the people to wanted to see what it is that they wanted to see. And if they were involved with it, not like involved, but engrossed with it like me, they definitely would want to see a season 2. Because the way how they left it at the end of season 1, oh my goodness, I was upset. And Corey can vouch for me because I was talking to him when this happened. I was upset. I was completely destroyed. Like, I was like, I can't believe they would do this. How could they leave? Like, there are so many things that could have been expanded upon for something that was like a 12 episode series. And it just, like, it was, I just feel like that in itself, for something that's been the motivation for what you are expecting to happen. Every episode is like suspense. Is something going to happen between these two or no? And I feel like not a lot of, comedy is this main perspective with a slight twinge of romance. I feel like not a lot of animes get that suspenseful feeling that necessarily others may not have.
That's fair enough. Again, just for the sense of, for the time limit, any rebuttals, I'm gonna leave it down to a minute, and when we get to the 30-second point of that, I'll say 30 seconds, just so you know, just so we don't overlap and take too much time. But no, that's perfectly fine, Stefan. You made some good points. You still think the cliffhanger is more of a bigger expectation of why people would feel more frowned upon when there's a cliffhanger compared to loose ends. Corey, you want to jump in against Bakuno, or you got nothing against that? You haven't seen it personally. Okay, fair enough.
Shaking his head.
Okay, fair enough. So for Corey's anime, anyone want to rebuttal, since he said there was like missed concepts and they didn't explore upon that much with the atmospheric, kind of worth of the anime? Anyone want to explore?
I'll absolutely jump in against that.
Fair enough.
Main things that he said, were there were missed concepts. Things weren't fully explained. Well, with Bakuno, one of the biggest concepts is the idea of going insane and what living too long does to you, and they barely touched on it with the child character. They didn't get anywhere. I mean, these characters have been alive for maybe 200 years. What happens when they're 800 years old, 1,000 years old? What happens when a millennium passes? What happens to the mind? What happens to the world? I mean, he says that there's worlds that haven't been explored, but different places in time are also to me considerably different worlds. If I went to the 1960s, it would be a different world than it is now. So to see this expanse of time all the way from a couple hundred years ago to whenever this story could end, I mean, it could take years and years, millenniums to end. There are almost an infinite amount of worlds that they could delve into and have just not been able to do because of the low amount of episodes. So if we're talking about different worlds and different mindsets and just all these different things that haven't been explored, I think Bakuno just has the highest range completely.
All right. Okay. Corey, you want to rebuttal against that by any chance? Convince me more why your misconcept is more of an importance to convince me compared to such as say as Bakuno. Anything at all?
It's hard to come up against the argument about Bakuno because I haven't seen it.
Right.
I mean, hey, this is fair game. This is fair game. This kind of goes with the knowledge of you guys as debaters and me. Yeah, honestly, you probably haven't seen it. You could still make a hard debate, and it might still side me. I'm just saying. You're more than happy to, or I can just move on to Stefan's anime. It's up to you.
I want to rebuttal against Stefan, so go ahead.
Okay, now Stefan's his anime. Corey, you've seen it. I don't know,
Yeah.
Gabe, if you've seen it, and you guys want to rebuttal against why you think yours is strong, and then we'll kind of close it off right there for that first
Corey,
question.
go ahead and go first, sir.
Go for it.
All right, so you have seen a bunch of romance slice of life comedies, I'm assuming, right, Stefan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
my favorite.
How many of them end the same way that yours do?
Oh.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
How many end
Well,
on
some of them-
cliffhangers?
Okay, cliffhangers. Now let's see. Now we're talking about animes that the only one that I've seen left on a cliffhanger that I actually really like is the second one. The others normally end pretty concretely, I think.
Okay.
I've seen 20 plus romances that end the same exact way yours did.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
for a romance anime not to be explored upon is actually a common thing. For a more atmospheric
30
show
seconds.
like this show, Haibane Renmei, that needs to explore upon different concepts like suicide, a lot of these other heavy themes. For it not to be explored upon is quite the sin, in my opinion, against a romance anime, because psychological animes and a lot of atmospheric shows are not explored upon as much as they should be, like Haibane Renmei.
Okay. All right, my counter.
Okay,
real
go
quick.
for it. Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it.
He said that the main thing that he wanted to revisit was this relationship between these two characters.
Yes.
That it was left uncemented. Baccano has that too. A character named Bino proposes to a girl, and we never see what happens by the end of that. We know that the two of them have some interest in each other, but they both have complete distrust in each other, and we don't know where that relationship goes. Not to mention, that's just one small segment. There's another character named Lad who gets his arm
30
ripped
seconds.
off and wakes up in like a prison with a robotic arm, and we don't know what the hell happens to that guy. We don't know what happens to any of the immortals. All we know is that there are two characters who, I'm not going to spoil that part for anyone, but they do show up in present time. They are the only ones that we know exist in our present time. Everything else is left up to question, including romance, including people's lives, including futures and pasts. There is so much more to explore.
All right. I'm gonna call it quits on that one. I gotta give props. You guys made some pretty heavy debates. A lot of these concepts I hate to see, and I would love to wish to explore upon all these anime. Sadly, Gabe had the best argument. I'm gonna give the winner to him on that one. I mean, he threw in the
Yeah,
same
I know.
concepts, very similar to you guys.
To be
In the
perfectly
sense that
honest,
there was a
like-
lot more added on. Yeah, I gotta give it to him, man. I gotta give it to him.
When he mentioned Baccano, I was like, oh, I don't know
He
how to
called
say
it too.
it.
He called it
I've
right.
seen
I
it.
knew he was gonna talk about it. I had a feeling. This question was pretty much gonna lean to him.
Yeah,
unless you guys
because
had a strong
I've
argument.
seen Baccano, so I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's a hard debater.
Yeah.
Anyways, question number 2, or round 2. So, guys, next question. Since we started off Gabe, we're gonna move on to Corey on this first question. So, Corey, is there an anime you really enjoyed but refused to watch it ever again for one or more reasons? Go.
Serial Experiments Lane. I
Okay.
really and highly enjoyed that. I know how much you didn't enjoy it, Gabe, but I highly enjoyed it. But the reason I will never, ever watch that thing ever again is because, one, it was too convoluted for its own good. It tried to introduce way too many things out of nowhere. I saw an alien in that show, and I didn't even understand what it meant. It tried to introduce a bunch of symbolism that I think does not make any sense. And it's to the point where the anime's plot, if it even had one, got lost along the mix. And I felt as if Lane as a character I cannot connect with, and I do not want to have that weird feeling with the character that I had with Lane ever again. It was such a weird experience that I just never want to revisit again, but I highly enjoyed it. It was rewarding, but oh my god, I could not understand anything.
All right. That's caught my interest. So, Stefan, go, sir.
All right, so one show that I will absolutely not watch again. You know, I'm going back to the romance genre here for a second. I'm going to say I would never watch Ano Natsude Matsuru again. I would never watch it again, simply because of the fact that, you know, when you have such an anime that's has a really good storyline and just pushes that relationship that the characters have, and on top of that, it doesn't end on a cliffhanger. Like, how hard is that to see? Like, because if you wait until, spoiler alert, I'm spoiling everything today. If you wait until the last episode and you watch after the credits, it shows what happens afterwards. I would never watch that show again because me personally thinking that I'm going to watch it again would just completely ruin it, I think, in my personal opinion. Because it's already, it's done a good job of setting itself up and it's done a good job at finishing itself. You know, I think it's like, I don't really see a reason to ever watch the show again because of how good I think it was personally.
All right, so he's taking a different approach. How good it was, not that it was overwhelming, but more that it was already good enough. There's no point of exploring more on it. So Gabe, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna be a little unconventional here.
Sure.
I'm gonna say Serial Experiments Lane. The reason is, okay, you said one or more reasons. One of the reasons is very, very personal, and you guys both know that reason. Somebody that I cared about a lot was really, really into it and shoved it down my throat. The other reason is that while it was a good anime and while it was a mind F, I'm gonna try not to curse because I know where this is going, but because it was a mind F, that it was good, it did make you think, but the thing is, a lot of the critical and, in my opinion, more pretentious reviewers out there seem to hold it in such high regard and think that they know what it's about, that rewatching it again would cause me, anytime I watch an anime, I want to discuss it, and if I started discussing Lane with people and giving my opinion, there would be an air of condescension and an air of pompousness from the community. And I just don't want to have to go back to that and have to deal with that again. I enjoyed watching it. It was a good watch, but I felt like it was riding the coattails of Evangelion and shows like Evangelion, where it tried to be a mind F, where it wasn't being original for being original, where it wasn't trying to make a point. It was just trying to F with you. And that, to me, while it was a good show, left me wanting and left me feeling like it was almost condescending in and of itself.
All right. Well, I did forget to mention this, ladies and gentlemen. If, again, no one knows their answers. This is completely straight off the topic. Whoever calls an anime, that's the one they're discussing. And if we have similar ones, it's pretty much going to go down to a 2-on-1. I feel like Gabe is more lenient to what his reasonings are, but they picked the same answer, and I can't just double whammy and give it all the points to him. So basically, guys, it's basically Corey and Gabe against Stefan. Stefan, if you can convince me, I'll give you 2 points off the bat for taking these guys out. If you can convince me, or else they both get a point, 1 each. Can you do it, man? Convince me.
You know what? I think I'm just going to throw in a towel on this one.
You got nothing, man? Anything about against the
Wow.
No?
You know, I, like, okay, personally, you know, when it comes to, like, I love my romance and comedy animes. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I just don't see a reason, personally, I'm about to take a few shots fired here. I'm probably about to get flamed for this. You know, if an anime was good enough, I don't think if anime was good enough, I don't think it even have a reason to have anything continue on afterwards. You know, I think if it was done well, if it was executed well, you know, like if it was done well enough to the point to where the last episode was literally the last episode and that's all they were ever doing, then I'd totally be okay with that. That's, you know, like that's what I think it takes to really have a good anime. Is something that ends on the last episode and it stays on the last episode and ends that way. Not something that would need a continuation, not something that would need clearance or clarity or anything of that nature. Just something that would, you know, it's a one-stop shop.
You know, man, I appreciate the dedication. You throwing in the towel, but still giving a great speech on the end of it. That was really good, compelling. I'm still gonna give it the Serial Experiments Lane just because it is a mind fuck. So, Gabe, you got 2 points. Corey, you got 1. Stefan, you're at 0, man. But hey, don't worry, buddy. You can push this. You can push it. So we're gonna move on to the next question. This time, to Stefan, you're gonna be starting this up. So, question is, if you could have one character from an anime come into your world and be with you in real life, it could be a friend, a waifu, anyone at all, who would it be? Go.
Okay, so if anything, I'd have to say, oh boy, and now this took me a while to think of. I would have to say, if I really, really had to think about it, I would have to say Toka from Tokyo Ghoul, if I had to bring her into real life. The thing is that, you know, it's a dangerous world out there for a ghoul. It really is. Everyone,
all right, you got my attention. I'll give you that much.
It's a dangerous world out there for a ghoul. Everyone that is a ghoul, a Tokyo Ghoul, either, spoiler alert again, I'm just spoiling everything. Their parents have died, they're close to getting killed, or they have been killed, or harmed in some type of way. I think bringing them into reality could kind of take them away from that. Because, I mean, come on, you look at these anime characters and you're like, man, they go through a lot. You know, they just need a break. So I think, like, out of everyone in Tokyo Ghoul, despite Kaneki, because he's been through a lot of stuff too, I just feel like, you know, Toka would, you know, she would win the case. I mean, she struggled. I mean, her brother, I mean, come on, man. Her brother, like, freaking stomps on her whole arm, almost breaking it. I mean, really. I mean, the one person who she grew up with after her dad died, spoilers again, after her dad died is the same person that turns against her and basically almost kills her if it wasn't for Kaneki. You know, I'd have to say Toka. I mean, really.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Toka, that was actually a big hit surprise. Wow. All right.
Wow.
Gabe, who would you bring in real life?
Okay, I have a feeling that this is going to be kind of a waifu competition. Like, you know, what girl I would bring in.
I said friend, waifu, it's up to you guys. I mean, again, it's whoever convinced me, man. Convince me. Why would you want this person in your life? Why?
Instead of waifu, I'm going to go a different route. Mostly because I don't believe in waifus. But my number one choice for the person or character that I would bring into the real world to be with me is Korin from Dragon Ball. The reason being that with Korin comes sensu beans. First off, awesome sensu beans. I'm immortal now, for the most part. So first off, you get sensu beans. Secondly, he also has like the sage wisdom of a grandfather without being creepy like Roshi. So if you ever need wisdom, you need somebody to talk to, you need somebody to go to, Korin's gonna be there. Also, girls love cats, dude. Okay, screw the waifu thing. I have the ultimate wingman. I have a cat that can talk and heal me. He's gonna go up to them and he's gonna be like, hey there, come talk to my friend over here. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, come talk to his friend over here. Now I have a wingman. I have a sagely old grandfather to help me out, give me advice. I have sensu beans. And not only that, if times get rough, I have a sideshow act to make me money. I win!
Oh God.
Wow.
I'm gonna say this, Gabe's already on a whole new level scale. Corey, what you got, man? Convince me, buddy.
I got God. Literally, I have Haruhi
I knew
it! My waifu, and who is a legitimate god. Not just a god of conquest, not the god of wheat, god of the universe. She can manipulate the world in any way possible, and she's just the perfect person to have around my life. She believes in the supernatural, she's way out there, not afraid to speak her mind, overly confident, but funny at the same exact time, has a sense of charm to her, and I would just love to have her in the real world. I mean, who wouldn't want God in the real world? I want, well, pizza? She can bring me pizza if I want to. Out of thin air. Not just bring it, well, we can order a car if we want to, but...
Alright,
yeah.
I'm gonna say this straight out. I'm gonna give you guys, both you, Stefan and Corey, some chance. Again, Gabe's on a whole new level. So, I'll let Stefan give a rebuttal. It's mainly just against Gabe. If you can convince me, man. Stefan, I get you, man. You're trying to be sympathetic. Be like, oh, man, the world of the ghoul is tough, man. Live with me, you'd be good. Convince me, why the hell should I not pick Gabe? Because that sounds like a fucking great idea. Tell me, man.
Right,
tell me.
First off, okay. He brought Dragon Ball Z into this, and I'm really about to go into detail on this.
All right, convince me, buddy.
Sensu beans, that's great. But first off, how are you going to have an old-ass cat as a wingman? I mean, really, this dude needs a cane to walk around, to help him maneuver throughout the place. He lives in a tower, isolated away from people, with a fat man that has a samurai sword. Yajirobe. If you really want this guy to be a wingman, I don't think he'd be the possible choice for you. Him and Yajirobe have marital debates all the time. I swear it's like they're married. It's... First off, how would you get him walking without the cane? I don't think he's that young enough to walk without his cane. Secondly, sensu beans take a long time to grow. You eat a few of those. You eat those. If you go out and have a party, do whatever it is you want to, you come back with a few broken bones and eat sensu beans. You're going to be
3
SHIT out of luck if you have no more.
I'll let Gabe push in a little bit of rebuttal on this one.
Okay, first off, I'm bringing Korin. I'm not bringing Yajirobe. If he and Yajirobe are having marital debates, that means Korin's gay. Therefore, he and we're not going to have any overlap. I'm going to help him out with the boy cats. He's going to help me out with the girl humans. We're not going to have any overlap. Secondly, if he can't walk, that's not a cane. That's a pimp stick. He's a little pimp. And even if he doesn't want to walk around with this pimp stick or it turns girls off, I'll just carry him because it shows an emotional kindness to the girls that they're just gonna love. And sensu beans, they have at least 10 per season, which means they're growing 10 per year. Why the hell am I gonna need more than 10 per year? I'm not Goku. I'm not trying to be Goku. I'm just trying to do stupid shit 10 times a year. Sensu beans are gonna help me with that. All of these points they're just nullified, man. He's a talking old wise, sagely cat that can bring me sensu beans and women. I don't need a waifu. I don't need Toka. I need Korin to hook me up.
I'm sorry. He wins. He fucking got me. I give up.
I'm glad you stopped.
I'll give you one chance, Corey. I'll give you one chance. No more rebuttals. I'll let Corey give him a chance to spare.
Okay, I'm just put side note. I'm glad you stopped him before it turned into a huge
with Haruhi, I can have everything all of you have. I can bring all those characters into my
Oh.
world because she is the god of the universe. Therefore, she can bring anime characters off the screen, including your person who likes those Zetsubis or whatever, into my world. So therefore, I take everything you got, Gabe.
Okay. I'll see. I'm gonna leave it on this. I'm gonna make something special of this. So, pretty much, Stefan, you're kind of out, buddy. I'm just throwing it out here in this round. Okay, it's Gabe and Corey. I'm gonna let you guys fight this out. I'll give you guys 15 seconds. I want some bold words, some convincing words. Give me something strong. Whoever convinced me with these 15 seconds, regardless of what you guys said before, I'm gonna pick the winner. I'll start off with Gabe. Go. 15 seconds.
Okay.
Starting now.
When it comes to yours, she might be a god, but that doesn't mean she's going to do everything that you want, and if you ever piss her off in a relationship, she's going to completely screw you over. What's Corn going to do? Piss on my carpet, scratch up my couch? She ain't going to do shit. She will screw you over. She will make you non-existent. She's not going to do every little thing that you want because she's her own woman.
All right. Corey, 15 seconds. Starting now. 10 seconds.
3 words.
Okay, 5 seconds.
She is a god. No, 4 words. Forget the god.
Gabe wins. God damn it. Gabe wins.
Drop the mic. You walk off.
Gabe wins. Gabe wins, everyone. He wins this round. My God.
Did he just win the game?
No. He wins this round.
No, he already got 3 points.
Technically, you could tie it up, Corey. You have 2 more questions, but the way Gabe is at, I'll make the last one interesting. I'll think of something within the off time. So, Gabe 3, Corey 1, Stefan 0. But you know what, Stefan? Don't worry, we'll work something out. So, 4th question, ladies and gentlemen, second to last one. So, I'm gonna start off with, let's see, I did Stefan. So, Gabe, right, back to you.
Yep.
So, question is, who is the worst character in anime for you, and what could have this character done to be better? Tell me.
The worst character in anime is Saber from Fate Zero. Hands down. The reason being, and come at me, bros. I don't care. Saber, okay, Saber
Shots fired.
is such a weak character. I was gonna say Waver, but Waver gets development. He actually develops a little bit. His balls drop just a little bit. Here's the thing. Saber constantly needs the help of the other heroes. She never has one single fight by herself, except for against Berserker, which they never even show. She never develops as a character. She is King Arthur. She is the epic legend, the most well-known hero of the Fate franchise, and she can't even fight by herself. She fights an unknown Irish guy, which is basically just a drunk that likes potatoes. I'm Irish, I can say that. And all that happens is she cuts him, he heals. He cuts away her magical armor that stops him from hurting her, and then he takes out her left hand, which is where all of her power is. He completely demolishes her within 5 minutes, gets saved by Ryder and Berserker, then Berserker comes after her, then she gets saved by Lancer and Ryder. Constantly, she's getting saved. She's never doing anything. She doesn't make any of her own decisions. As a matter of fact, the end of Fate Zero completely hinges on the fact that she couldn't make her own decision and had to destroy the Grail because she was ordered to.
Corey, he brought up Saber. I'm not gonna be biased in this. I'm gonna be strictly what he said. Saber was useless. Who do you got, and why is this character? How could this character have been better? Tell me.
Ichika from Infinite Stratos. By far the worst character I've ever seen in anime.
Tell
to
me
make
why.
him better, because right now he's not aware that not 1 nor 2, 6 girls like him. He's not aware of any of it, which makes the plot not progress. What could make this show better is make him aware, like Makoto from School Days, because at least that plot actually progressed, even though Makoto is still a bad character. But Ichika, if you were to make him aware, it would progress the story, and it could have made his character a lot better. You could have seen some development out of him along with the girls, but the anime just doesn't do that. But if we were to make him aware, that'll be it.
All right. So Corey throwing out the harem aspect of like this particular character who just doesn't do shit when it's clearly obvious there's 6 girls who wants his D. So Stefan, tell me which character you got and convince me, buddy.
Oh boy, I hate to do this because I'm probably gonna get super flamed for this, and oh my goodness. All right, so I'm gonna go from a different approach. I'm going to say Minma from Anohana. That's where I'm going with this. So one thing that I will say is that by far, why is she one of the worst characters to look at critically? Let's count, if it was possible, let's count how many times he said Jinta in the entire anime, okay? I understand that, spoiler alert, that she's dead and that she's a ghost, but for the most part, she herself doesn't really, I mean, this anime hinges off of the whole fact that everyone is practically obsessed with one another. And Ninma's just there to help everyone else see that, that she's basically the reason why they're all mad at each other. So really, what does she do besides sit there and really, I don't know, kind of progresses the plot forward? In my personal opinion, she doesn't really do much besides anything but sit there because she's dead. And doesn't really help Jinta express the fact that she's alive sooner than when she could have, and thus cut down on a lot of the drama that happened between the rest of the anime. That's all the crying starts happening, and everyone's upset. And
I'm gonna cut you off right there, man. I get where you're going with this. I love it. I can see that there's annoyance, there's uselessness. I see where you're going with this. I can tell these two really want to edge it out. So, Gabe, why is your character more useless?
Okay, with both of the characters, they've described the fact that these two had a point in the plot. Mm-hmm. Both of them had a point. Both of them had actions. Corey's chose to not choose any woman. He chose to basically do nothing. That's a choice that he made. Whereas Stefan, his chose to be, I guess, the center point, as he's saying, the center point of everything, and to give other people reason to do stuff. Saber never gave anybody reason to do anything, and she never made any decisions on herself. She was a character that was hyped up not only by the series, not only by the intro, which displayed her more prominently than any other character, but in history. They used the fact that King Arthur had such a vast, epic lore that everybody had heard about to hype her up before she even hit the screen. As soon as you knew that she was King Arthur, you were already hyped because of who King Arthur is. Nobody listening to this can say they don't know who King Arthur is. And they didn't use that hype. They didn't give her anything. She made none of her own decisions. She didn't succeed in any fights. Literally every single thing was taken from her, and she did nothing about it. Ever.
Alright. He kind of mentioned a little bit of a con against you guys, stabbing against, saying that, she didn't have a reason. You guys had reasons to choose what they did. Corey, convince me, buddy.
At least Saber progressed the plot.
Ooh.
That's it.
Oh, all right. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, Stefan, you want to jump in real quick on this, or any add it on to enhance your character? Because I'm already kind of down to who I feel like I want to pick. I'll give you the last floor if you guys want to add anything else to your character.
You know what? Nah, because I was reaching for that one. I'm not going to say anything. I was reaching really hard for that one.
Wow. You know what? I'm not going to lie. Gabe had me there with the choices, and then both clashing out. They both were really good at baits. The harem felt a little bit too generic, and I felt like that was a little too much for overall harems. But I'm gonna slide just slightly to Corey with that one pitch line that at least Saber progressed the story. I'm gonna give him to that one. That one was kind of just a drop the mic. Oh my gosh, you got right. It. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I can give him that.
I can give him that. So basically, the score is going like this. We have 3 for Gabe, 2 for Corey, and Stefan. We'll just spice this one up really interesting. I'll give you a special chance on this last question. Just hint that towards you since you have 0. So let's see. I went straight to Gabe on this one, correct? And now I'm gonna move on to Corey. The next one. So Corey, last and final question. I'm gonna make this interesting. For the sake of it, I'm gonna value this up to 2 points to make it interesting. So whoever gets it will get 2 points. And Stefan, if for example you get it, we'll tie up the game, and then after that, if Stefan does get this one, we'll make it a tiebreaker, and I'll throw in one quick question out of all of you guys, like a lightning round. So, Corey, after getting all that away, as a medium, how can anime progress to Western culture more? Tell me.
Well, they're already doing it right now. I think that they should expand upon adding more shows, more mature shows onto American TV, because on Cartoon Network, on Adult Swim, we're having Attack on Titan and shows like that. I feel they should add more mature shows to other channels, like maybe Welcome to the NHK that explores upon certain concepts of just loneliness, something that everyone in America has experienced at least once, or maybe Legend of Galactic Heroes for those who are sci-fi nerds and love Star Wars, the stuff that people are interested in here in America on different TV channels, maybe some on Nickelodeon, maybe some on the Disney Channel, maybe some on, who knows, maybe Black TV.
All right, Stefan, again, How can anime progress in Western culture? Tell me, buddy.
Way how anime can progress in Western
Yep.
culture.
How can anime? Yep. How can it progress into Western culture more?
All right. Well, it's just the simple fact that heck, keep watching it. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Family may not watch it, but your friend sure as heck will. I've gone over to multiple people's houses and people who don't even watch anime or like anime that way. I'll be like, "Hey, dude, you want to watch a show with me?" And they'll be like, I don't really watch that, but we can try it. And I've never had so much fun before. You know, no one's ever. I've had friends that have never seen anime before, and I've shown it to them, and they just really, really fall in love with it. And you know, just getting the word out to your friends. Not saying it's supposed to be like one whole publicity stunt, but just talking about it. Just this podcast itself is a way to expand anime because you never know who may stumble across this that doesn't really, have the full grasp of what anime is, as opposed to, big breasts and sex jokes. Really. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
Okay.
So Corey, I found that you brought up that it should be advertised more onto TV in Western cultures to conform people to watch it more. Stefan, you mentioned the basic thing that everyone is an anime fan. Just spread it out to your friends. Tell more friends. Spread it out just by yourself as your own individual. Get out there and tell people about it. So Gabe, I know they kind of took a majority of probably the answers for this question, but you're more than happy to convince me, buddy.
Well,
go for it.
My answer is similar to Corey's, but here's the thing. Both of theirs have already been done. Word of mouth has happened and anime has spread to a very good amount, and I don't think that word of mouth is going to get us much further. We have Toonami, we have Adult Swim, we have channels like that, and we've had anime-style shows like Teen Titans and Avatar on Nickelodeon. We've had these things, and yet anime hasn't exploded to the point where it is a respectable medium. What needs to happen is a primetime network needs to take a chance and put a decent adult-themed... We have enough adult-themed anime. We have Code Geass, we have Steins Gate, we have Death Note, we have a lot of things that adults can connect with. Put it in a primetime slot, and if there's one channel that's going to do this, I don't respect everything they've done, but what they've always done is take chances. They made comedy okay for cartoons. They brought us Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They brought us a lot of things, and that's Fox. They always take chances. The reason anime got big in America in the first place was because of Fox. We had Dragon Ball, we had Escaflowne. These were on Saturday morning cartoons on Fox for years. Sailor Moon, that's the reason that anime got big here, was because of Fox, and they completely just bypassed it and negated it. If they would take that chance, get some of this adult-themed content and put it at a primetime slot when adults are watching, right next to like a Family Guy, right in between Family Guy and The Simpsons and Bob's Burgers, that kind of stuff, that's going to get people going, oh wow, this isn't like cartoon animation that's funny, this is cartoon animation that's serious. Why haven't we been checking this out for? And other primetime networks are going to do it. And that is going to get respect, that's going to get attention, and that's going to get anime on the American map.
Alright. Well, I want to bring this to Corey real quickly because you guys have very similar ones. But the way I kind of differentiate, Corey kind of wants to expand upon it and not just one Prime TV, but like multiple. Have more. It doesn't matter what kind of networks. Have them try to slide in anime somewhere in their networks. And then with Gabe, it's more or less, alright, get a big Prime like Fox, hit on their Prime networks with all their Family Guys, American Dad, all these Prime shows where people watch these American cartoons, like the adult cartoons. So, Corey, convince me, how is spreading it to different channels, not just having a Prime, like, big spot, slot in television would be more better than that?
Well,
Tell me.
Well, there's different channels for different genres. Mm-hmm. So if you were to expand more and more and more, like, let's say the soap opera channel, you get all the romances on there. The horror channel, you get all the horror anime on there. Instead of putting it on one slot, you don't know what audience you're going to hit with that slot. You know, you're going to probably hit like the Family Guy funny audience with like the comedy, and that's fine and all. But if you're putting romance on Fox, it might not work out as much as if you put romance on soap opera.
Oh, wow. All right. You made a good point there. I like that. It definitely got my attention. So, Stefan, yours is a different answer, spreading it out. Gabe mentioned a counter-argument that's been done. Tell me, is there more than just that we can do with your answer, or is it just simply just keep on asking? Tell me.
Certainly there's more than we can do with that answer. And to also rebuttal to Gabe's comment about how that's already been done, showing it on TV has already been done too, and people still have their stereotypes about it. To be perfectly honest, if you spread it among your friends, just the fact that somebody who doesn't normally watch anime is suddenly watching anime, and their parents are like, "Hey, what are you watching?" Or, "Hey, what are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, this show that my friend showed me," and it's like, "Really? What's that?" And for parents that are actually curious, have never seen something like this before, you know, if their child is like 18 or like 17 and they're becoming on the cusp of like young adulthood, they'll be like, "Oh, this is pretty funny." You know, the sex jokes are funny. You know, it's kind of like it appeals to more adults than it does to children at times. It's more so the fact that, you know, just by spreading word, like just by spreading word instead of putting it on big primetime TV where somebody will probably flip or skip the channel, it's just something that's, you know,
Three.
already been done.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
most definitely. Rebuttals?
Yeah, my rebuttal to Corey first off
Sure.
is that yes, it would work if you put certain things on the soap network, on these networks, on Disney, on whatever. But those are all cable networks. Not everybody has cable, and the most watched networks are primetime networks, Fox being one of the big four. So yes, you're going to get some viewers, but those networks have such a niche, and they have such a very small bankroll that they can't afford to try new things. They can't afford to throw anime on there just because it might work. Fox can. Fox is bankrolled out the ass. They have tried every single thing from Firefly and Buffy to that 80s show. They'll try anything. They don't care. They have so much money that it doesn't matter to them. And people, and then this is against the other point, is that, yeah, okay, if you can somehow get your parents to watch anime, sure, that'll open up new gates, but really, how many parents are going to actually sit down and watch anime? Not that many. What do families normally sit down and watch? They sit down and watch sitcoms together. The Simpsons being the longest running one of all time. So if you put an anime on right after The Simpsons, when the family's already gathered together watching a sitcom, then you're exposing more people than you could expose anywhere else. And I'm not saying that Fox is the only network that needs to do this, but they're the network I think could do it the best because they already try crazy stuff. They already have tons of cartoons out there. They're already family centered. All of the pieces are lined up, and they already experimented in anime and helped bring it to Western culture. They are the prime example of a network that needs to do this and a network that can successfully do it. They've already done it once with Saturday morning cartoons. Now they need to do it with Sunday night cartoons.
All right. Again, I'll leave it one last rebuttal round from Gabe, since he keeps stepping up that ladder. Anyone else want to rebuttal one more time before I make my answer?
I'll try to rebuttal again.
All right, Stefan.
All right.
You got the floor.
So basically, one thing that I noticed that Gabe said was the fact that, you know, adults aren't really going to spend time when it comes to watching the show. You know, if it's something that pops on immediately or something close to that nature, then, but the thing is that whether adults watch it or not, the main demographic, I'm pretty sure, is meant for at least teenagers or above. You know, adults aren't going to watch everything. They're not going to want to watch everything for the most part that their children are watching, because some people will just be like, oh, okay, that's just a kid's show that he's watching immediately. You know, that just may be the case. But the point is that by spreading it through word of mouth, by spreading it through your friends, you get a much broader spectrum that way. And then who knows, maybe a parent or an adult who really likes anime can really see, oh, well, then what's this? I may even spend time watching it. There was even a Robot Chicken skit about that. How the little girl was sitting in front watching Inuyasha, and his dad's like, oh, what's this? What are you watching? And it just took off from there.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to call it a quits right here. I loved all arguments. Corey, you're a little bit predictable there, but I loved your argument too. You guys were very similar, you and Gabe's, which I found really interesting. I love how Stefan took that other approach, especially with mainly if you have a connection with your family or friends, they're probably more likely to give it more of a chance than if it's just shown on TV. But for the sake of this, and the sake of the arguments and the details and the convincing that I got from this, I'm gonna have to give it to Gabe.
Yeah.
Gabe won this one. I'm gonna give it to him. Stefan, you were really close on that one. I felt like you were kind of just squeezing as much as you can out there. I mean, honestly, you had me there the first time you rebutted against him, but then when he brought back on that, oh, how is that gonna fully help that? It's not always a guarantee with parents and everything, and everyone, it's a more majority of how much just normal people watch those Prime networks. That one caught me, and you know what? I'm gonna give it to him on that one. But I mean, this does wrap it a close. As far as the scores go, basically what we got here, it pretty much would be 4 for Gabe, but technically I made it 2 points, so it was 5 for Gabe, 1 for Corey, and then 0 for Stefan. This was a really interesting debate. I felt it was definitely prime on so many different levels. 2. Sorry, Corey. Sorry, misconstrued that. But this was a really good debate. I definitely found some really good cunning fights on this one. Very close, very, very good. You guys had great debates. Timing was a little long, but not a big deal. But regardless, Gabe, you're the winner, man.
Yay.
No, but anyways, regardless, I hope you guys did enjoy this week's Anime Royale. If you guys do want to share your thoughts and opinions of all these questions that we mentioned, please do so in the comment section below. This has been awesome. I know there was a little bit of a stabs going on in certain departments here. I'm throwing it out there, but hey, you know, you gotta say what it is. If you got an argument and you convince me, I'll take it. Even how much I might be biased in some of these answers that were showcased here. So anyways, for anything, we'll just start off. Gabe, how can they find your channel, man, just so you get yourself out a little bit more?
You can find me at ShintaoGenesis on Twitter or youtube.com/ShintaoGenesis.
All right. And Corey, would you like me to do your outro for you, my buddy? All right. Just for the sake of argument, don't ask me why this is going on. But, of course, you can find Mr. Reckless Penguin at Mr. Reckless Penguin on YouTube or at Reckless Peggy on Twitter. Stefan, since you're going to be starting up your YouTube channel, you want to give them an idea so I can put it down in the description below so they can eventually maybe look you up when you actually got your channel going?
So basically what it's going to be called is that it's going to be The Blackest Nerd You Know. I'm going to be going over anime. I'm going to be going over game reviews. You know, I may even have a funny skit in there or two. But things, you know, I'm hoping things will take off. I had a lot of fun even though I had 0 points. I mean, I just love debates about stuff like this. So that I actually have like enough knowledge on. I don't even care if I win or lose. I just thought it was amazing. So
yeah, you know, you put yourself a hard fight, especially that last one. I mean,
yeah, I was worried on that.
I was kind of going back and forth. I'm not gonna lie, I was back and forth. It's just that last part just barely got on Gabe on that one. But no, honestly, you put a big fight. Again, if you would have won that, I would have automatically made this a late round just because you were on the deep end, and it would have been fair regardless if you would have won. So, guys, great fight. Again, if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to share this out to your friends. Be sure to comment down below on all the questions for your own answers, because we would love to hear them and answer them back to them, how we feel about that, as well like and subscribe. Anyways, my name is JC Green as well. You can find me at JC Green the Reviewer or at JC Green YT. This is the OtaKrew signing off. Peace, guys.
Later.
Later.